tutorial, we are taking the course ENG122. It's a continuation, and we're taking our bearing from what it means by things. With this being said, let's hop straight into it. Okay, so we have ENG122. And we are taking our bearing from the course, from the topic, all right? What it means by things. Okay? Now, hello, hi, good evening. So we have things. Okay. When we say things, what are we talking about? Things is used to relate an event. All right? Tense is used to relate to an event or happening expressed in, all right, or expressed by verb. Okay? Event expressed by verb. Okay? It is used to relate to an event expressed by verb. All right? The verb could be particular about the time scale in the present or past. Okay? Meaning that the happening of this event could be indicated, all right, be it in the past or in the present. Are we on the same page? Now, according to ICA in 1996, things refers to exchange. All right, let's see that again. Things refers to the changes in form of the verb to correspond to our concept of time. So, things is time conscious. The aspect, on the other hand, refers to the way the action of the verb is perceived. All right, whenever it is in progress or is completed at the moment of speaking. Now, the point here is that things, all right, corresponds with, okay, the concept of time. You know, you are talking about, okay, I think I'm going for lunch. I'll be going for lunch by 3 p.m. and currently I'll be going for dinner by 9 p.m. and currently it's noon. The time effect or the time context of that sentence is futuristic compared to I had my dinner last night by 10 p.m. The time effect of that sentence is past. Now, so when we're talking about tense, it is time, all right, corresponds with the concept of time. Now, tense and aspects, all right, tense and aspect here simplify, all right, the way the action of the verb is being perceived. of the verb is being perceived. How is the action of the verb being perceived? Then we are talking about the aspect. Now, the combination of aspect and sense are therefore related, and the expression of time, present or past, cannot be considered separately from aspect as well. Okay, now let's take this point. It says tense is a property of the verb. Tense is a property of the verb. In grammar, tense refers to the time an action took place or the time of the state or condition. In grammar, okay, in grammar, tense refers to okay, it refers to the time an action all right, it refers to the time an action took place. All right, an action took place or the time of the state or condition of the state or condition. So we have that as that. Now there's something called the simple tenses. All right. Now take note, verbs have 6 tenses. Verb 6 tenses. Okay. Now, which shows difference, which shows differences in the time of action or the time of the state of being. All right, these 6 tenses shows the difference in action or the difference in the time of the state of being. Now, we said 6, right? Okay, so now we talk about the simple tense, the perfect tense, the present tense, the present perfect tense, the past tense, the past perfect tense, the future tense, the future perfect tense, and the future, all right? Yeah, okay, we stop at the future perfect tense. Now, let's take it one step at a time. The perfect tenses, all right? The perfect tenses. Okay, let's take it from there. Just a moment. I think I need to get mine. Don't stop. Okay. Now we have the perfect tenses. Now we have under these 1, 2, 3. The first, okay, the first one being the present perfect tense. Present perfect tense. We have the past perfect tense. Past perfect tense. And we have the future perfect tense. Please note that the present perfect tense describes an action that is completed at the moment of speaking. an action completed at the moment of speaking. The present perfect tense is formed by combining auxiliary, all right, like have or has with what we call the perfect present, all right, with what we call the past participle of the principal verb. So we have had, have, with what we call the past participle, all right, of the principal verb. Past participle of the principal verb. Now let's take an example of that. I have spoken with the vice chancellor. I've spoken, all right, is the verb, all right, and we have the first person, all right. Take another one. Said you have worked for your promotion, all right. I've worked. Then we have the second person. The driver has washed the car, all right. Has washed, all right, which is that in third person. Okay. Now, the past perfect tense describes an action that was completed before. Completed before. All right. Before, okay, before the definite time. Now, the past perfect tense is formed by combining auxiliary like had, all right, and with the past participle of the principal verb. All right, we have the likes of had watched, had spoken, had been, had gone. All right, before the doctor arrived, the accident, all right, victim had fainted. So we have that as that. So we have the likes of the future present tense. All right. And when we talk about the future present tense, like I said earlier, it's a little bit different from the rest as it speaks more about the future. All right. It describes an action that will be completed. All right. By a specific point in the future. Completed by a specific, all right, point in the future. A good example. So you use auxiliaries like will. Okay. By the time you get there, we will have been building the house for a year. The guests are coming at 8 p.m. I will have finished cooking by then. So we have that as that. So now let's take a step further. I want us to finish this course, with just 2 more classes and we are done. Okay? 2 more classes and we call it a wrap. Now, let's take a step further. There's something called the active and passive voice. Okay? Active and passive. Okay? The active and the passive voice. Now, when we say active voice, we have already seen that when the subject is performing the action of the verb, we say that the verb is in the active voice. When the subject is performing the action, suffers the effect of the action performed by the verb. We say the verb is in the passive voice. Are we good? Let's do that again. It says when the verb, when the subject is performing the action, subject perform the action, then we say the verb is in the actual active voice. But it's the other way around, whereby the verb suffers the effects. When it suffers the effect, okay, of the action performed by the verb, then we say it is in the passive. All right, we say the verb is in the passive voice. Now let's take a very good example of this. The mechanic repaired the car. The mechanic performed the action, so it's doer. The car was repaired by the mechanic. Now the car suffers the effect of repairing, which happens to be the receiver. So the mechanic now is active while the car is passive. All right, there's a receiver and there's a receiver and there's a giver. There's a doer, the person who does, who makes things happen, is the verb in action. All right, and the person on the receiving end is the verb. All right, the passive, the person receiving on the other end that is suffering the effect of the active verb happens to be the receiving verb. So we have that as that. So it says the use of passive voice. Okay, wherever the action voice is possible, both in speech and writing. All right, wherever the active voice is possible, both in speech and writing, the passive should not be used because the active voice is direct and more natural. Now, let's take an example. We enjoyed the party. The party was enjoyed by us. These are examples of passive and active voices. So we have that as that. Well, there's something called modal auxiliaries. And modal auxiliaries express certain ideas. Ideas like politeness, ability, permission, willingness, and the like. Now, these modalities are, however, expressed by specific modal auxiliaries, such as can, could, okay, can, could. So now let's break it down. Let's break it down. Okay. Now, it says here, under permission, don't forget we're talking about modal. All right, modality. Okay. All right, modality in modal auxiliary. Now, we said it expresses, okay, it expresses certain ideas. Ideas like politeness, permission, ability, willingness, possibilities, and the like. A very good example of this under politeness. All right, under politeness, let's just take this. So we have, can I have your pen? Could you sign my form? Okay, these are the examples. Don't forget, we said something like these modalities are, however, expressed by specific modal auxiliaries like can slash could. Now, under politeness, underline the keyword can, could. Now, let's take one more example. Under permission, all right, with permission, we have can I come in? Okay, all right, can I come in? Could you please let me in? All right, so these are examples, and we have that as that. Now we have here, there's something called infinite. All right, there's something called finite forms of verb. Finite forms of verb. They exist in simple present tense, all right, and form the past form. The finite forms of the verb exist in simple present tense, all right. They exist in simple present tense form and the past. Now let's take an example of finite forms of verbs. They enjoy themselves daily. They enjoyed themselves yesterday. He enjoyed himself daily. Now, the non-final verb does not have the subject concord notion because it neither indicates number nor person. All right. Three types of non-final verb can be isolated. They are the infinite, all right, which primarily begins with to. Infinite, begins with to, all right, to sing, to laugh, to walk, infinite, infinite verb. Example of non-finite forms in a sentence: he likes to sing, they like singing, this is a deserted house. So now we have some uses. Don't forget, we said something about finite already. So what we're talking about now is infinite. All right. So for finite, we have the likes of the norm. All right. I haven't talked about the finite forms, and we'll take it up from the non-finite forms of verb. Okay. So just going to highlight this so that in our next class, we'll take it up from there. Thank you very much, everyone. I really, really did something to this tutorial. Do well to keep your notes up to date and send them to the appropriate quarters. And for those of us who are yet to get our membership badge, all right, it's highly essential as it opens certain perks and features, all right, for you. Do well to go to our own page and find the join button, and from there you can follow the instructions. And for those of you who are yet to become a member of a private class, there's a lot going on in the private class. You're getting the keynotes, exam practice questions, and a whole lot of support just to ensure that you are set up and all right, we'll fix you up and set you up for your forthcoming exam with every resources at our disposal. Perhaps it might interest you to become a member of the private class. Visit us on our official website, www.tutorial.net, where you find the WhatsApp button on the top right hand corner. Find it there, smash it, take you directly to our WhatsApp page, and you can ask your questions and let us know how we can be of help, how we can add you up, all right, having responded to the requirements. This being said, call it up for today. Bye for now.